Greetings. Time for another injection of truth, because surely truth is eternal. It is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It does not change. And today we are in this election season. We are talking about the election. And you might say, what does the election have with truth and the word of truth and with Christianity and with God? Well, God is Lord of all, including everything that we do, say, and think. For God has said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct our paths. We're not left to our own devices and understanding to do anything or make any decisions in our life, whether great or small. Certainly, we must not depend on our own understanding and judgment in deciding who we will support and follow, or who will exercise power over us in any area of our life, whether a church leader or a pastor, whether a mayor or councilman or the president of the United States. The decision of who to support and to follow should be made by God, not we ourselves, because it is God that knows everything about every candidate, every person that is trying to fill a position. It is God that knows his intent, knows his motivation, knows all about him. So we must go with what God says, not our own opinion and not our own thinking and understanding. God's decision is based on his knowledge and wisdom and understanding. God, however, uses people to speak through to us and to guide and to direct his people in their decision making. God uses people, and he's using people today. To make the right decision, we must be able to discern who to listen to, however, and which voices to believe. And this leads us to our topic of discussion for today. I heard former Chief of Staff under President Trump, General John Kelly, state that President Trump had displayed fascist tendencies and impugning Trump's character. He ended by stating that people should vote based on the candidate's character, not on their policies. And it really surprised me. I was surprised at General Kelly's lack of understanding and wisdom in this matter. However, I do understand, because although he was a 4-star general in a high position, a position of authority, he, just as General Milley and just as General Colin Powell before, they were great generals that were able to do their job, and they were dedicated, but they were not actually great leaders. They were not leaders at all. You see, it does not take a great leader to be a general in the armed forces or the Air Force. What it takes is a great follower. You see, a great leader is able to develop policies and to negotiate. A great follower is able to carry out those policies. So General Colin Powell, General Mark Milley, and General John Kelly are great followers. You give them the policy and lay down the guidelines, and they will take care of it for you. They will come up with a plan. They will lead the troops. They will do what it takes to enforce the policies that you come up with. But they're terrible at developing those policies themselves. And that is why the leaders of our founding fathers made it so that the president of the United States would be a civilian, not a military leader, because military leaders are not good, generally speaking. They're not good at developing policy. They're good at carrying out the policies that are developed. And so it was not surprising what General Kelly had said, although it did surprise me a little bit about his lack of knowledge and understanding about character. And it seems that General Kelly does not really know what character is. He does not have a good working definition of character. As a person that held in such a high position and authority, he should realize that a person's character must be judged by his or her first honesty, their integrity, their openness, and by their stance on the issues, and by the policies they support and promote, and by their past history. That put together is a picture of their character, and that's what you should vote on, their character. And their character should not be judged by sound bites from a news reporter or from a TV show or from some TV station. That is not how you judge a person's character, not even by what that person has said in and of itself, because what a person says can be taken out of context, and the meaning that that person has when he says that, makes that statement, might not be the same meaning that you put on that meaning. So you can't judge a character by that. You judge a person's character by looking at their openness, at their honesty, at what they have done in the past, and at looking at their history. That gives you a picture of their character. By that measure, the one presidential candidate with dangerous and unacceptable character flaws is Kamala Harris. You see, General Kelly has confused character with personality. A person might not have the personality that you like or that is really pleasant and pleasing, but that person might have good character. If that person is honest and trustworthy and says what he means and stands by what he says and what he means and does what he says and what he means and does the things in accordance with God's will, then that person has good character. He might not have the best personality in your view, but that person has a great character. And that's what you're looking for, a person with great character that follows God's will. It is a person standing before God as compared to God's law and God's will that determines whether that person has good character or not. And considering our presidential candidates, Kamala Harris, nobody really knows where she stands on any of the major issues. She has gone back and forth on fracking, on border security, and on all the other major issues. She doesn't really take a stand. Nobody really knows what she thinks or where she stands on these issues. The only policies that she has positively been clear on and unequivocal about is her support for unlimited legal abortion up until the time of birth, and her full support of the LGBTQ agenda, including surgical sex changes for children and taxpayer-funded surgical sex changes for criminals that are in the prison system. The final great indicator of her character, for me anyway, was her response to a person at one of her rallies. When the individual yelled out, "Jesus is Lord," Kamala Harris responded by telling him, "You're at the wrong rally. You need to go to the one down the street." And that it was a little bit shocking, because no Christian, a true Christian, would not have said that, would not have had that response to a person that had just given glory and honor to God. So these are the indicators of Kamala's true character. If you look at what she has said, the policies that she promotes and supports, and look at her performance in her positions in office for not only the last 4 years or last 3.5 years, but as district attorney and as senator, if you look at what she does, you get a picture of her character, and it's not a pretty picture. So the question to be asked and answered with honesty and sincerity is this: do you want to live under an administration that produced the results like the 2017-2020 Trump administration? Or do you want to live under an administration whose policies have resulted in wars in the Middle East and in the Ukraine and in the disastrous open border policy with unnecessary destruction and death and child trafficking and all of these issues, and a lot of death and misery that we're actually even living under today? The inflation that is crippling the nation and that is really hurting ordinary Americans. Do you want to live on which administration is better for you? Which one do you think is better for America? And which administration do you think is better for the world? If you look back on the history of Kamala Harris and her policies and what she has done, and the history of Donald Trump and what he has said and what he has done, and if you look at that, then the decision becomes clear. Which one is actually producing the results that are in accordance with God's will and in accordance with what is best for the United States and the world? Which one, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump? And if you look at those and make your decision based on that, which is, it reflects their character, then you will make the right decision, I'm sure. But this is an important decision that you have to make when you go to the voting booth, because whoever you vote for, you are voting for their policies, you're voting for what they want to do, and for what they want America to look like and be like. So vote wisely. God bless.